Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Raka Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thyself in times of trouble? And sometimes it does feel like that, right? You know, it feels like you're going through things and you're praying, you're calling out to the Lord, but nothing is happening. And you feel like the Lord is far, or he's hiding himself from you and you need him. But sometimes the Lord does that to test you. The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in the devices which they have imagined. You see? And you can see that in today's time as well, you know, with how Esau treats, Jake or Israel, the Lord's people. They're likened onto the wicked, right? And in their pride, how they persecute and mistreat the Lord's people. But judgment is going to come upon them, right? Their devices, their plans that they have imagined, they're not going to be able to accomplish that. Job, the 20th chapter, goes into that. Verse 3, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire and blesseth the covetous, right? So they when they boast of their heart's desire, they're basically proudly proclaiming the things that they're aiming to do. Look at people like Noah Yuval Harari, for example, and the things that they say concerning the Lord. They boast in trying to play the role of God, right? They boast in trying to do away, as they say, with the God of the Bible. That's old. But it says, and blesseth the covetous, right? Those that are covetous represent, wickedness, right? Those that are wicked in society, and they bless them, they reward them for doing that, because they run a wicked world, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. See? So they're astray from the Lord. And that's why they do the things that they do, because the Most High is not in their thoughts. They're not considering the Lord. They're not considering how to be righteous, how to run a righteous society. They don't care about that. His ways are always grievous because of his nature. He's unrighteous. The scriptures tell you, right? They be born speaking lies, right? They go astray as soon as they be born. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. So he's not considering the judgment of the Lord. When they do their wickedness and they plan and plot and try to implement, they're not considering, hey, what's the Lord going to think about this? Is this righteous according to his ways? They don't care about that. Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, gives you an insight, more details into their thought process. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them, and that's their pride, right? To puff at them is like to show yourself, right? Like as being much better than them, and making that very obvious to them. Verse 6, he hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. See, linking up with Isaiah 47, which is also dealing with Esau, or Babylon, which is like a personified Esau, because it's his spirit that Babylon embodies. Isaiah 47, verse 7, and thou hast said, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things, yeah, to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. You see that? There's another part in here. Let me see. There it is. Verse 10. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Right? Similar thought process going back to Psalms 10 and 6. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. I shall be a lady forever. Right? What is that? I am and none else. That's that proud mindset that they're going to continue forever. They're never going to suffer loss. They're never going to suffer defeat. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud, right? Which is, fraud is a form of deception. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. It's another way of saying the words that come out of his mouth, right? It's mischievous, wicked crafts, vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privy set against the poor, or privately set against the poor. Let's read that in the NLT. Now, once again, like I said, right, you have this on like a general level, dealing with wicked people. But when you look at this on a on a more detailed level, all right, and in the nature and characteristics of Esau, Edom, you can see how they lurk, right, in places, as it says of the villages. What am I doing here? Let's go here to Bibles. They lurk in ambush in the villages, waiting to murder innocent people. Now, the modern day way that they do that is they're not actually necessarily lurking in these villages, you know, because say people here, take Babylon for example, you're not really living in villages, maybe a certain degree of it, but they do this in, you know, contracts, okay, in things that they hide, so as to where somebody, a wicked individual, would actually be hiding to ambush somebody to murder them. Today, an example would be Esau put chemicals that are bad for you in your food, knowing you're not going to read the ingredients, and it's slowly killing you. He'll promote medical procedures that are not actually to your benefit. They keep you sick until eventually you die, and then they make money while you're sick, and then when you die, right? They set up contracts, you know, they create scenarios where it's secretly done because it looks like it's part of the system to help you, but in actuality, it's slow murder, psychological murder, spiritual murder, and physical murder. They are always searching for helpless victims, and that's exactly what they're doing. So who do they prey on the most? Israelites, because they know we're the most helpless right now when we don't have our power. But that's why us waking up and having the knowledge now that we do is a very dangerous threat to them, because no longer are we helpless. Verse 9, he lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor, right? So he's lurking. That's literally when they put binding contracts, and they put the part that's going to get you secretly in the page 978. They know you're not even going to get to page 5. Nobody ever reads the employee handbook, but then they throw little secret things in there, pass little legislations without you, paying attention to it. These are all to catch you, right? As it says, he lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net, which is this trap. So here, likening him to like a hunter, that is setting a trap for the poor to take advantage of him. When you just look all throughout how Esau set up a system like this, it is a trap. It's a big ass trap, a big net. It keeps you poor, and when you're poor, when you're too poor, it throws your ass in jail. Okay, it's just a system to keep you oppressed. Verse 10, he croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones, right? And that crouching and humbling himself, in the book of Sirach, you're warned of that. Though he go crouching, yet take heed of him. So that crouching and humbling is a tactic of deception, right? Acting humble as though they're trustworthy to get through your guard. You give them your trust, you give them credence, and then boom, you fall. And that's what they'll do. When you're signing a contract, right? Whether it's music, a movie contract, or whatever it is they're trying to get to you, when they pitch it to you, they make it sound good, like they're looking out for you, and then boom, now you're trapped. What the hell is going on here? You better off doing a 9-to-5 job. Better off working at McDonald's. Because once you in, good luck getting out. Verse 11, he hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. See, the Most High is not in all their thoughts. They're far removed from the Lord. Not considering his judgments, not considering that he's looking and he requires that which is past. So with this, they embolden themselves to continue on in their wickedness. Let me see if I can find that. Psalms 50 and 21. These things thou hast done, doing to their wickedness, I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself. So because the Lord didn't act right away, they thought, oh, he's on board with it. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. See, so similarly here, they're like, oh, the Lord, he's forgotten about him. He's not looking on it. He's not going to do anything about it. Arise, O Yahweh, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? The word contemn there is like to despise. Why? How come they? Because why should they? Right? Why should you allow them to despise you, Lord? Because they don't see you taking action. He hath said in his heart, thou will not require it. See, that's the Lord said it, right? Going back to Psalms 50, thou hast done these things, thou hast done, and I kept silence. So, and because of that, they're emboldened to do it. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, the hearts of men is fully set in them to do evil, roughly paraphrasing. So they have said, oh, the Lord's not going to require it. We don't got to pay for this. Let's do it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief. See, so to the contrary, the Lord is actually witnessing it all. Thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. So the Lord is looking at it so he can repay them. He can bring judgment upon them. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. And the poor and the fatherless represent us. We're likened unto these because we're in a disadvantage in this captivity, right? In this condition that we're in this world of wickedness. Being righteous in the world of wickedness makes you likened unto being poor. The poor and the fatherless were those that were at the bottom. Break thou the arm of the wicked, and the arm represents their power or their strength. So bring down their strength, and the evil man seek out his wickedness till thou find none. So, like when you're prosecuting or persecuting somebody, and you're calling out, everything they've done to the T, that they may be judged for it. And that's what David is calling for here, that the Lord does to the wicked. The Lord Yahweh is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Meaning that they're gonna be destroyed. Now, it doesn't mean that he's gonna eradicate all the heathen nations. But the things that they do and promote, he's gonna put an end to that. Both in his actual land, right, which he has chosen, and among his people. Yahweh, thou hast heard the desire of the humble, which is their hope, the things that they hope in. Thou will prepare their heart. Thou will cause thine ear to hear. See, so the Lord has heard our prayers. He's heard our earnest desire. The scriptures say that the Lord is not going to frustrate the patience of his saints. NLT, Lord, you know the hopes of the helpless. Surely you will hear their cries and comfort them. To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress, that man being the wicked. NIV or NLT, you will bring justice to the orphans and to the oppressed, so mere people can no longer terrify them. And the scriptures say that, right? We're gonna dwell in peace, being when the Lord delivers Israel, and none shall make thee afraid. And that brings us to the end of the book of Psalms, the 10th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.